My name's Allison Putman, and my husband and two girls and I survived Hurricane Ike. Our home was destroyed with 4 feet of water on September 13th, 2008. It was an overwhelming experience, one that we will never forget, and really something that we hope no one ever has to go through. However, if you are stuck in a situation like we were with our entire home destroyed, there are certain things that you need to know. One is that clearly the insurance companies are not really there to help you. They are there to give you a bottom dollar for your property, and we really were appalled with some of the experiences that we had with that. Our home was destroyed primarily by flood, but we did have some wind damage, so we had both factors involved in the recovery process. So wind insurance and flood insurance had to work together, which is kind of an oxymoron because they don't really work well together. Our insurance adjuster came out to our house about 5 days after the hurricane, and they were overwhelmed with claims. We had an adjuster come in who handled this situation a little bit differently. I think things would have gone much smoother. He came in and basically gave us a lowball offer on the entire loss. I think that's possibly what they all do, is give you the bottom dollar and then hope that you will just take that and not come back and do any more dealing with them. We couldn't just take the bottom dollar because it didn't cover our loss at all. We did have to rebuild our home because it was a total loss. We went through the whole process. It took about a year to resolve the bulk of the insurance claim, and 2 years after the storm we began to build the home, and now it's 3 years after Hurricane Ike, and we are still in litigation with our flood carrier to finish paying the claim. About 2 weeks after Hurricane Ike destroyed our home, we were talking to one of our neighbors who had gone and met with a public adjuster to help them with their flood claim. We hadn't known anything about a public adjuster, and he told us that they were going to help him. Had we not gotten a lowball offer from our insurance company that wouldn't even cover the beginning of repairing the home, we probably would have just gone on our own. But because we clearly needed to recover the full loss, we decided to speak to Clay Morrison of Morrison Morrison to help us with our loss. We thought we were covered. We had flood insurance, we had wind insurance, and we had homeowners insurance, and we paid those premiums annually without fail. We didn't miss a payment, and when it came time to pay, none of those insurances wanted to pay. With 2 small children and a full-time job, and my husband working full-time, there was no time for us to really get involved in much of the insurance process. I had an entire household to put back together in a new place, and to get the kids off to school, and to get to my job, and so I couldn't keep going back and forth with the insurance companies, talking to people on the phone, getting estimates, and that's where Clay Morrison and his team came in, and they just took over. They had somebody come in and evaluate the house to get all the details on all the construction stuff that I know nothing about, and they just went from stem to stern and evaluated everything, the contents, the structure, put together the estimates, and were our true advocate in this whole process. Had it not been for Clay, we would be stuck with the minuscule amount that the insurance company had originally offered us. We were out of our home for 22 months. Though going back to the property pretty much every day, we decided to tear down and then rebuild the house, and I I really can't emphasize enough how important the intervention that Morrison Morrison offered us. We were able to get things back on track with their help and their advocacy, and I really don't think that we could have done that on our own. The stress is overwhelming in a disaster like that. 22 months after Hurricane Ike, we moved back into onto our property, though we had a brand new, beautiful home. A home that I never had really planned to build, but we step by step went through and built a home. And actually, along the way, Clay and Ruth Morrison came over periodically during the build, and we reminisced about what a mess Hurricane Ike had been, and then looking at the new construction and how wonderful it is. I don't think we would have been in such a great place had we not engaged them. So we are very thankful for Morrison Morrison.